Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. So I just got home from work, so I had to come in and get on.
No worries.
Just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to reach out to you and to feature you. I'll tell you a little bit about myself so you can kind of
Okay.
be comfortable with me. So I'm a journalism student. I am a part of the graduate program for Full Sail University, and my beat is in journalism, and I love like entertainment. So I wanted to feature someone who works in entertainment, like works with film and media and all the cool things, because I love that as well. So I just really appreciate you for taking the time to like sit down and interview with me. Basically, I just want to ask you like a couple questions just about your life and how you got into cinematography and all of the cool things. And anything you want to elaborate on, feel free. I'll feature you in my story, in my article, and I'll send it to you via LinkedIn so you can, or you can just go to my page and click on my website and you can read like all the articles. But I'll let
Okay.
you know when it's completed so you can like read it and we could just get started.
Awesome. Let's do
Okay.
this.
I just have like a few little questions in my notes here.
All
So,
good.
um, like, what is your origin story? How did you get started in film and cinematography?
So I actually got it into film when I was in high school. There was a 4-year film program uh in my high school, and that's really where I started to get the love for it. It was really nice because I actually started out as an editor, ironically. Um,
Cool.
yeah, I was an editor at first, but one thing that really got me into it is just like I really liked cameras. I was getting bored of being in the editing room, so I just went ahead and started doing cinematography. And I asked my teacher because he's just a very blatantly honest guy, and he's just like, I asked him, "Do you think I could even have a career in film?" And he's like, "At this time, yes, but only in editing." And I was just like, I gotta prove this guy wrong. So I literally just started working on doing my cinematography skills. I would, whenever I wasn't busy, like every night, I would just pull out my camera, whatever lights I had lying around, and just shoot something and would critique myself and like learn, like, hey, this is okay, I can do this, but I can't do that. It was just a whole learning experience.
Cool, cool. So
And
you pretty much kind of like just taught yourself and applied what you learned and kind of learned on the fly and did what you felt you needed to do until you went to school. But I think that's admirable for you to just be like, hey, I feel like I want to do this. I'm gonna learn how to do it and I'm gonna do it on my own and then build upon that. So that's cool. I think that's so great. And that's motivating to people because I know now a lot of people feel as though like, man, some people don't have the financial means to go to film school, but they love film,
right,
you
exactly.
know? I love film. I love watching movies. I'm such a nerd when it comes to that. I like to watch like the commentary and like when the movie's on. My mom hates it, but she's like, "Why are you watching it?" I just love to see how people come up with the concepts. Like, how did you use that particular light? What made you want to use, shooting black and white for this scene or a widescreen versus a focal point? So I definitely, that's cool. That's really cool. Okay, so I know you did a film called Loudness Around Me, in which you highlighted your disability, and it's called hyperacusis, if I'm saying that right.
Hyperacusis.
Hyperacusis.
You're good. Don't worry. I didn't even know how to say it before I got diagnosed, so I
So
take no
what?
offense. You're good.
Oh, okay, thank you. So what was that like being vulnerable like that on film and sharing your story? Because I had never heard of it. So can you explain like what it is and how you feel highlighting that?
Yeah, so to start off with, it's just like it honestly at first gave me insecurity about my whole entire future because um, you know, it's not a disability that just starts from birth. It actually just starts around the age of 14, and it just got worse, and I didn't even know I had it until I got to college, and all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, I can really hear everything. So, what hyperacusis is it's this disability where I have a lower tolerance to noise than a normal person. So, for instance, like, you know, what I mean, there was like situations like, I'll give you a good example, like taking a shower. It was hard for me to take a shower because it was so loud for me. That was so like things like that, everyday scenarios where you don't think that sound is a problem. It's a problem for people with hyperacusis. And um, like I was fortunate to find a treatment plan with an audiologist who specializes in hyperacusis patients, and that's kind of the direction I took the film actually. So, uh, the whole premise of the film is this guy, he wants to take this girl on a date to the movie theater. Movies, we all know they're loud. There's nothing quiet in the movie theater. If you go to a quiet movie theater, it's probably the most boring place ever and shouldn't be in business, you know?
Right.
Um, so he's trying to do that, but he becomes more aware of the noises going on around him to the point where he has a panic attack because it's just so loud that he can't handle it. And then he finds an audiologist who specializes in his treatment plan, and and I hinted towards the treatment plan a little bit at the end, and he's able to take her finally on the date at the end. It's a short film, obviously, so I can't
Yes.
prolong it too much.
But that's
But
cool. That's amazing to highlight that and to let people know like what it is you go through. So, like, was that difficult for you being in film and sometimes like being on set and like things get loud or hearing audio playbacks and things like
oh
that? Was
yeah,
that difficult for you? Was that like a challenge?
you have no idea. It was, before I started my treatment plan, like I would have to walk around everywhere with headphones on just to be able to be comfortable. I
Uh,
mean, this is like walking out into the hallway of my school, even, or just being in a classroom because the AC would be so loud for me that like I'm like tensing up because I'm just so overwhelmed by the noise. Um, so like, for a little bit, I did find myself alienating from people because, it had nothing to do with them. It was just like, I want I want to be comfortable as much as possible. Um, I was wearing stuff like earplugs on set to at least somewhat help, but even then I had to like tell somebody like, hey, this is really loud for me. So sometimes I would have to step away or, it wasn't easy to do it, but I had to push through at the end because, it's either that or, you're not getting a call back.
right. Absolutely. So I read that you went to SCAD. So how did you decide on going to SCAD versus other schools, and what about SCAD like made you be like, yes, this is where I officially want to go?
Okay, so I originally am from Dallas, Texas. Uh, so yeah, I'm a long way from home.
A long way.
Now I live in Atlanta.
Okay. I'm from Atlanta. That's crazy. I'm born and raised there. So
Okay.
yeah, it's
What part?
cool.
Because I'm in Sandy Springs right now.
Oh, so I was like in like Fulton County and Clayton County areas,
Oh, okay.
like those areas, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I actually had not heard of SCAD before I started applying. It was funny because I'm trying to find a film school. So the first one I looked at was a school in Dallas called Southern Methodist University, or SMU. I don't know if you've heard of that one or not. Uh,
I haven't.
okay, all good. But Southern Methodist University, they do have a film program. But I went to tour them, and I mean, I didn't hate it at all, but I asked them like questions like, do y'all have like connections to the film industry? And they had no direct connections, and I was like, there's no way that you can make it in this industry if you don't have the connections.
Exactly.
Like, don't get me wrong, their program is really good. They do have a good film program, but the big issue is again the connections. So we started talking to friends and family, and like apparently my family was just the only one that had never heard of SCAD. Everybody was, I mean, it's like 20 different people who were like, Oh yeah, SCAD, it's a great school. So my mom, fortunately, in the fall of, I guess that was 2021. Yeah, because I got in 2022. Yeah, just trying to remember the timeline. Um, but yeah, the fall it was really cool because like she works for a marketing company, and at the time she was doing mystery shops for one of the clients at the time that was here in Atlanta, Credit Union of Georgia. And my mom was like, you want to come with me on a business trip because we can tour SCAD. So we flew to Atlanta and we rented a car and drove to Savannah first to tour the Savannah campus because, there's two campuses.
Hmm.
I didn't mind the Savannah campus. It's a really nice place. But then we came to Atlanta and, after both tours, my mom was just thinking, crap, he wants to go to SCAD now.
She like they got him.
Yeah, she's just, but she did tell me, she's like, after touring SCAD and touring SMU, is there any, now knowing what you know about SCAD, do you really even want to apply for SMU? And I said, absolutely not. I'm just not passionate about it now that I know what's at SCAD.
Yeah.
So overall, it was really awesome because like I applied and thankfully got in. And the last 4 years have just been nothing short of amazing. Like I just graduated class last week.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
always a great when you can like finish. It's like you can finally like take a breath.
I know because I don't have any assignments due next week when spring break is over.
Right, right.
So it is nice. And uh yeah, it was really good. I think in my opinion I took advantage of all the resources SCAD offers. I mean, because there's stuff like SCAD Pro, which is our pro studio where we get to work with actual industry professionals. And in the fall, I had a really exciting chance because I was in the class that worked with Georgia Entertainment, and
Okay.
I worked on the journal that the Creative Business Economy Journal. I think that's what it's called. I do actually, I was fortunate to be able to work on that uh, because our class got invited to their Signature 100 event, which is their big event in December, where they celebrate like all of the arts and everything that's been going on for the last year. And I got to do photography for the event. Like I was one of the many photographers there. Uh, Georgia Entertainment then the next month hired me for one of their events because it was here in Atlanta. So
Okay.
I did
That's
photography
awesome.
for their stuff. And then it was really cool because I got a phone call a few weeks later and they were like, hey, in May, do you want to come with us to Cannes Film Fest, which is all the way in France? So,
Right. Oh, that's awesome.
and
That's
I,
so awesome.
I was just like, yeah, travel expenses all paid for and everything. I was like, yeah, of course I'm gonna go back to, because I studied abroad in France 2 years ago and I loved France. It's so beautiful in that area. I mean, I know Caen is a different part of France than it is Marseille, but the French countryside and it's really not ugly anywhere in France. It's really nice altogether.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's like great. So, like, with all the opportunities like that you've had so far, like, what are the main things that you like took away from SCAD? Like, what's the one thing that you're like, yeah, I learned so much from that and you just want to like apply it to your work?
Um, that is think about that. I think the biggest one is so one thing that was a big deal for me at least and a lot of students is SCAD has its own TV show that is now on PBS and WABE called Chef ATL. So it highlights how the chefs around Atlanta are pushing the culture one dish at a time,
Okay.
and it's a docu-series about that. And I got to work in the camera department for 6 out of the 9 episodes that are being worked on. 7 of the 9 are out right now. but I got to work all in the camera department, and the way the professors treated it, it was a professional set, you know, and because our deliverable is for a legitimate client, not some random distributor that no one's ever heard of. I mean, who hasn't heard of PBS in the US?
Right. When
So
you
it
hear
was
PBS, you instantly think of like Sesame Street.
exactly,
It's
you know,
amazing, yeah, for sure.
it's legit. But I learned a lot of things like, how to work your way up in the camera department and, you know, giving it your all because and I learned all these roles really well. So I started off as the CCAM first AC, which is really nice because I got to learn how to pull focus, and that job really taught me amazing stuff on like how to pull focus. I think I'm better at pulling focus now because I did that job because, well, it's a documentary, like you don't just have like always set focus points that you can just be like, turn the dial to. You have to kind of figure
So
out how
can
to
you,
do.
for people who
Oh,
may not know,
sorry.
can you elaborate on what's a first cam AC?
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Sorry. Yeah. Um, so a C cam. So that mean whenever you hear like A cam, B cam, C cam, that means it's multicam. So C cam is the third camera. So I was on the third camera of the show, and what the first assistant camera, that's what first AC stands for. So there's multiple roles. So there's DP who heads the camera department, then there's camera operator, first assistant camera who their main job that everybody knows them for is pulling focus. So making sure every shot, doesn't look blurry, basically. And then, but they'll also help, things like build camera, for instance. Uh, then below them is the second assistant camera who helps, you know, they kind of help with jobs that the first assistant camera can't do. The second assistant camera does stuff like help set up wireless video so producers and director can all see that at Video Village, which is this big, place where a bunch of this where you see like all the screens if you ever see BTS photos.
Hmm.
And so I got to do that and learn how to pull focus, and I'm not going to say it was always easy, and the only thing that sucks about documentary is it's not like short it's not like a fictional narrative where you know you miss focus and it's just like, oh, let's do that again. You know, you learn like, oh, you only get one chance. It's like a wedding. The bride and groom only kiss once, and you have to be able to get that. It's similar to this where like uh like these people are doing the action and they only do it once because it's documentary. Uh so that was nice. And then after that I got bumped up and got to be the digital imaging technician, or DIT. And what that job does is they handle all of the footage and media, so like footage and sound, and they're the one who like bridges the gap between production and post-production. So they do things like offload footage and back it up to where it's safe. They create what's called proxies, which are these small files that so people can, you know, or post can edit it and their computers don't have to like fry trying to process all of that. So it's a big responsibility. There's a lot of things that DIT has to do. And then,
Yeah, that's cool. It sounds like a lot, but I think that you do some of the work that most people don't even like realize. Like from the outside looking in, like you're watching a film or you're watching a documentary and you're just seeing like the finished product, but you're pretty much showcasing like there's layers to this and that like multiple layers. It's like an onion.
exactly, it's it's so many layers to the but like and the thing is like all of those jobs are necessary to keep it running. Like the you can do it with four people, but it's not going to be as efficient. That's why crews tend to be so big. I mean, every episode we had a crew of like 40 to 45 people.
Wow.
Yeah, that included PAs, production assistants.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I definitely had my hand at being a PA. It was a lot of work,
Oh
a lot of
yeah.
running around grabbing bricks and like trying to make sure everything is squared away. It's a lot, but it was fun, and I think you learned so much, so much.
Yes, I agree. And then yeah, so like and learning learning was like a being a cam op because I eventually went from DIT to cam op, so or camera operator. So I was literally the one who was, doing the framing, like and all that. And I learned a lot about owning the frame. That was the biggest thing I learned about that.
What is
And
owning the frame? What does that mean?
so for owning the frame, that means like you just being confident and just deciding a frame right there because you have a producer in your ear who will tell you otherwise like, hey, zoom out a little bit. But just, taking it's really about taking the initiative to at least give an idea of a reference because when you do it sometimes when you choose it to own the frame. Like the producer doesn't always have to like be in your ear, like Charlie Cam do this, Charlie Cam do that. You know, they just all we have to do is just like we take direction very well. That's the big thing. But also like when we're setting up, just like set a frame and be confident about it. Like try to get an approximate frame. And it also just taught me how to like do it for multicam, like how I operate for multicam. But also, I saw an improvement in how I operated even on a single cam stuff, just because stuff like people standing up and sitting down got better, which it's a lot harder than it looks. I mean, again, like you said, like the finished product, that's what we see, but those stand up and sit downs take a little bit because every talent, is different sizes, they're different height, they stand up slower or faster depending on who it is. So you have to learn how to get that. Uh, but yeah, that was probably the most valuable thing I had ever done for SCAD.
Okay, cool, cool. That's amazing. That's a lot, but it's like so cool to just like know the details and hear like what all goes on behind the scenes because like we really don't know when we're watching the film. Um, so what type of projects have you worked on or projects you want to work on? I know you talked about working for Chef ATL, but are there any other projects that you have worked on or things that you would hope to work on in the future?
I'd really like to get into the, fiction side of things. Like, I'd like to do a feature film, DP a whole feature film and fictional narrative. Like, that is my end goal. Um, like I've gotten a lot of film school experience, but I'm still trying to break in and get that, big break. That's the hard part, you know. Uh, but that's the kind of stuff I want to do, or even just like a commercials, because commercials are still like their own animal.
Right.
They're because you have to be everything moves like this on a commercial because you only get one day of shooting. You know,
Man.
it's it's actually harder sometimes to make a uh commercial than it is a short film because there's only like 6 shots in a 30-second commercial. And the problem is you have to make them all look really good. If one of them sucks, it's not good. Whereas, fictional narrative, like if one shot is not like the greatest, you can kind of get away with it a little
Mhm.
bit. Uh, Not saying that I try to be lazy, but it's one of those, it's not as much pressure, I'd say. But yeah, I would love to do those are my two like top ones that I'd like to do.
Okay. Cool, cool. Well, I hope you do. I hope you work. I want to see your name in the end credits or something. That'd be so dope.
Thank you.
So like who were your inspirations as far as like cinematography? Like did you see like a body of work and you were like they did amazing cinematography on it? Because there's movies that I've watched and I'm like, man, that was dope how they shot that or that was cool. That was a cool sequence. So were you inspired by any movie or any DOP like,
Yeah, I think my biggest ones, I mean, one of them, like, I know this, like, the I guess, safe and basic answer, like Roger Deakins. I
Hmm.
mean, I love Roger Deakins' work, and we actually just had him at SCAD 2 days ago.
Really, that's
Yeah,
cool.
doing a master class, and it was just so cool to like see how he does his stuff. I mean, because we had crew that had like we had like student crew that had set up like a lighting setup for the demo, and he just comes in and just completely fixes it up and is like, "This is what I would do," and it went from looking like a student film to like an actual professional movie in a few minutes. Uh, I really love. I think one thing I like about Deakins though is just like the way he uses color to tell the story, and I think I replicate that a lot in my work where I use color to tell the story a lot. Um, that's really what I like about that. Uh, Greg Fraser's another one. I just love the Batman. That movie just is so pretty. Um, but it, I think what inspires my work with his is just like he shoots a lot of dark stuff. You know, the exposure is just really like dark on the image, and but I really like that. You know, when appropriate, I really like to shoot dark stuff. Like right now, I'm working on my friend's thesis film, and we're kind of doing that kind of style because it's just the story for it.
Hmm.
So that's what I think those are my biggest ones. But you know, you've got the other ones like Lauren Scher who did Joker, you know, DPs like that. So I really like just, you know, it's so fun to like see like I think in general, like I just yeah, I have so many DPs, but I think as well I'm gonna give like the really big names just that everybody would know off the top of their head.
Yeah, yeah. But it's fun to be inspired by people don't know because they'll, that makes them go research and learn. And I think
Right.
that's awesome as well because I know I like to find people that I don't know or like people that I've never heard and I see their work and I'm like, that looks so cool. Like I wonder, it makes you kind of wonder more about them. So you can always have like big name people who people know, but it's also cool to find like up and coming people, up and coming artists, or just people who may not have like a big spotlight, but it's cool because art is art and you can always be inspired by somebody. So
Exactly. Yeah.
that's
That's
cool.
one thing that's good about art is there's no right or wrong answer technically. It's all subjective. It's just, you know, at TV Fest this year we had a Jeff Probst come to TV Fest and he said it I think the best. He's just like honestly art, it's honestly easier now to put your artwork out. Before it was just not as easy. He said the only downside now is because you can put it out so easily, that means that the critics, you know, they are way more in abundance and you're going to get way more critiques now than you would have 20 years ago when
For
it
sure,
wasn't as easy to put stuff out.
for sure. But I also think people respect like the formalities and like the technicalities because I think learning things, the technical aspect is what people respect. And you can
Yeah,
tell when someone put the time in and the effort in and they really honed in on what they know and what they do. And there's nothing wrong with like learning on the fly. Like in the beginning, you said you kind of just did what you felt you wanted to do and figured it out. And I think there's beauty in that too. But I also think, having someone who knows kind of step in. So it's good, like you're helping your friend with their thesis project. So it's good to have like a friend like you to step in who knows and be like, hey, I would tweak it here or tweak it there or change the lighting or
right.
shoot this in black and white or shoot this in a widescreen or a focal. It's cool.
Yeah.
So I think it's always good to have like somebody like you. For sure. For sure. Well, those are all my questions. I thank you so much for like taking the time to talk to me. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. Thanks so much for reaching out to me.
You're welcome. And I hope you have a great day and I wish you all the best.
Awesome. You too as well.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.